This appointment started with me reading off the things I had wrote down to see what we should talk about. Those things consisted of 1. Clearing up the misunderstanding I thought we had the week prior. We didn't stay on this topic very long because I had a moment where I had put myself down for even texting her about it. She's explained to me that in group therapy that will be something we go over and to write down every time I do that. 2. We had tornadoes watched and or warnings here in Wisconsin the week prior, and it reminded me of when I was a kid. Up until now, I have a huge phobia of them. I explained to her, just slightly, that as a child I would grab all my pets, all of my favorite toys, etc., and lock myself in the bathroom with everything. I figured if I was going to die, I'd die with everything important. 3. On April 16, 2024, my mother had a stress test appointment at the hospital. I had to sit in a waiting room next to multiple elevators. I did not stupidly realize that I would see so many people on stretchers in and out of those elevators. It reminded me way too much of when I was hit by the car that caused me to have PTSD, and I was in that position all on my own. 4. I mentioned how after being obsessed with watching the Francis Scott Key Bridge videos constantly that now orange blinking lights on trucks are a trigger for me. I know that sounds stupid, but it's a thing. 5. I was sick all week except for one day after eating dinner. 6. This was just a random thought I had that I wrote down. Let me explain it a bit. I had a friend about 7 years ago who wanted to be my shoulder once my idol took his own life. She said she was willing to learn about him and listen while I mourned. That became her reason a week later, telling me that my idol is the reason she no longer wants to be my friend. Anyway, this made me wonder if now knowing I have trauma with self-unaliving my therapist's words, that may be the ex-friend saying that made me feel angry and possibly even more guilty. We spoke a bit about that, and in conclusion, I did say I would not ever forgive that friend. My therapist said maybe I could forgive just to move on. I feel like I have moved on, just not with that friend. Never ever again. 7. I am looking into my future like schools, earning credit, moving out, not needing a co-signer. And lastly, 8. Setbacks and how to cope or how to avoid big ones. After going over all of this, she asked me what did I do to get through all of the triggers I had during the week. I told her nothing. I just pushed it away and went on with my life. This was not a great answer for me. We also went over some of the meditations we did a few appointments back. I also took note that sometimes I have to have expectations because I feel like I am not learning the meditations fast enough, or that I am not doing well enough, and that triggers my fear of abandonment. We went over how friendships with trauma brain as well as needing someone close to me can have an impact on a lot more than I had expected. Lastly, she had me reach out to my primary doctor to have her start me on anxiety meds to try and level out my anxiety slightly, as I am currently having severe anxiety. My therapist has diagnosed me with PTSD, anxiety, and OCD. At this point, I am now waiting on the meds to be filled so I can get start on it. She did say that she thinks it is just anxiety, not anxiety and depression. Until next time.